From the Fifth Quarter Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to Coach Unplugged. Here are your hosts, Steve Collins and Drew Slemka.
Episode 10 of the Coach Unplugged is brought to you by Tidy Diaper. No, not just kidding, not Tidy Diaper Service. It's brought to you by CoachMarket.net. The great people over there support us. I hope you will support them. Go check them out. They give you a little bit of everything. Videos, articles, all sorts of services, individual training, team consulting, recruiting, helping you through that process. We won't be ranking players like a lot of recruiting services, helping you through that process, you and your parents, and speaking engagements. Want to listen to Coach Collins? That's where you go. All right, so episode 10 of the Coach Unplugged.
With age is getting out of their way, okay? I think you can overcoach, to be honest with you. Once March comes around, you should have everything you need in. You should have all the plays in. You should have talked to your kids. Everything should be okay. Don't overcoach your kids. We all want to get the clipboard out and boom, 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 and show everybody that perfect play that we can diagram in the last 30 seconds to win the state title. Well, I can tell you something. I've had to draw those down, and neither one of them have worked. I think I draw up pretty good plays, okay? You got to get out of their way. I've changed my philosophy at the end of a game. I'm not calling a timeout. I'm letting them come down, and I'm letting them score. So don't overthink a game. It's a simple game, okay? It's a game about putting the ball in the hole. That's all it is, okay? It's a one-man, one-on-one game, two-on-two game, three-on-three game. It's not a difficult game. We as coaches know a lot, okay? We got to convey what we know to our kids, but don't boggle their mind with all the stuff they don't need. Okay? Keep it simple, stupid. We can overcoach them. We try to narrow the things down. Come tournament time, I can tell you this year I was putting in new defenses, new offenses, and all of a sudden I looked over at my guys at the beginning of February this year, and they looked like deer in headlights. I was throwing too much stuff at them, and the best thing I did this year was I took a step back and I said, here you go, guys. Here's the ball. Go play like I taught you how to play. And they won a state title. So I think that's what you got to do. You got to let players play. If you start changing things, if you start doing things that you haven't been doing, they'll panic. Okay? They'll panic. They'll not feel good about themselves, and you will have issues. So I think as a coach, you got to get out of their way. You got to let them play the game. If you've done your job, they will perform. Okay? If you've done all the stuff that you need to do basically all year long, they will be fine come tournament time. If you prepared them for the final exam, they will be fine come the tournament time. So you got to get out of their way. You got to just let them perform. And when you do that, good things happen. All right, next thing. What do you look for in a player? Okay, so what we've talked about so far, we talked about finding the right people, finding the right location, finding the right school. Extremely important. Finding the proper roles for those players. Okay, getting out of their way and letting them play. But what kind of players do you want to look for? Okay, what do you want to look for in a player? I look for a player that can score and can handle the ball. Okay, maybe it's me, but I feel like I can teach them the rest of the game. I can teach them the proper way to get in a defensive stance. I can teach them how to trap in the half court. I can't teach them how to score in 4 months. I can't teach them how to handle the ball. Obviously, I shoot free throws, limited turnovers, handle pressure, but they got to be able to put the ball in the hole, okay? And they got to be able to handle it. If they can do those two things, I can teach them not to turn the ball over. I can teach them the proper way to box out. I can teach them some of those things in 4 or 5 months, but I can't teach them how to shoot a basketball in 3 or 4 months. I can't do it. All right, so that we spend a lot of time, and I think especially for you youth coaches, handling the ball is extremely important. Anybody that I have a 7-year-old at home, and we don't do a lot of shooting; we do a lot of ball handling. And the reason I think it is because the person that handles the ball dictates the game. If you can handle the ball, you will dictate the game. So scoring and handling the ball, I think, is extremely important. I know coaches, we all have our pet peeves. We all have things that we think are extremely important to us. I basically have 3 pet peeves that I communicate with my players. First one is turnovers, okay? We don't like turnovers, okay? Turnovers are bad. And the reason that they're bad is every time you turn the ball over, it's 3 points you can score and 3 points the opponent can score. So we emphasize every day, And we keep it simple. We have 3 things that we emphasize every day in practice that we talk about, we beat up. I could call, Wesley Matthews or Michael Nelson, they've been out of school for 4 or 5 years, ask them what my pet peeves were, and they probably could tell you what the pet peeves were. So the first one is turning the ball over. They can't do that. You got to look for players that can take care of the ball. Second thing is they got to be able to close out. Okay, it's a simple thing. I don't care if it's a 2-handed closeout. I don't care if it's a 1-handed closeout. I don't care what it is. We're not going to let people have open shots. Okay, it's the math teacher in me, but I know that the percentage shooter goes down as they get a hand up. As they contest, that percentage drops 10 to 15%. So we work on closing out. No one takes an open shot in our gym. And the third thing we talk about is no easy baskets. Now that's a difficult thing for us in our style. And the reason it's difficult is we pressure, we trap, we come at you. It's controlled chaos, to be honest with you. And we're going to pick you up in the full court, and we're going to trap you, and we're going to make you make plays. It's difficult not to give up layups. It's a difficult thing to do. My guys have a hard time with it, but we don't want to give up easy baskets. We want to get easy baskets by turning them over, but we don't want to get easy baskets. Now that might not be the style you play, but you can't give up layups and expect to win the game. So, where does that fit into players? Well, obviously they got to be able to score and handle the ball, but I got to find players that are willing not to turn the ball over, close out, and have no easy shots. So these 2 are the most important, and then our points of emphasis throughout the season. My guy, I'm not going to throw 35 things at him. I can't remember everything we do. So I'm just going to, whatever you emphasize in practice every day, whatever you're talking to your kids about, that's what they're going to remember. So you got to sit down and think, okay, what do I want my kids to be good at? Do I want them to be good defend? Do I want to play pack defense, Dick Bennett defense? How do I want to teach that? Is that one of the things? Because you can't have a list of 55 things that you want to emphasize. If you don't have time, you're a high school coach, you get them from November to March, and boom, they're gone. So we got to find players that can score and handle the ball, and we'll teach them not to turn the ball over. We'll teach them how to close out. We'll teach them how to get back on defense and not have easy baskets. So we can do that kind of stuff. So I think as a high school coach, or if you want to win championships, you got to find these players. You got to develop them. You can get a scorer. Okay, scorers, you can find scorers. Get a shooting machine. Get them in the gym. Get the 10,000 shot club. Do whatever you got. I always tell our youth players, shooting is like lifting weights. Okay, if you sit and lift weights, what's going to happen? You're going to get stronger. Okay, if you sit home and do math problems all day, what are you going to do? You're going to get better at math. If you shoot the basketball, you will become a better shooter. That's a way that is a skill that you can get better at. If you take 1,000 hours worth of shots, you will be a good shooter. Now, will you be able to get open? Maybe not. You might not be quick enough to get open, but you can learn to shoot the basketball. So we emphasize that. If you're going to find a player and there's one skill, make sure they can shoot. I maybe can diagram up something for them to be able to get open, but we want to make sure we can do that. So you got to look for specific players. You maybe are looking for a different type of player. Maybe you're looking for somebody that just plays defense or whatever. It's going to depend on you, but you got to figure out what your style is and how they can kind of fit into that.
Please check out coachmarket.net. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Really happy with the blogs that we're posting and a lot of the videos. So please check it out, coachmarket.net, www.coachmarket.net, and help us out. Obviously, they help us out with this podcast, and it would be great if you can maybe go over there, look at our videos on demand, and help us out in any way. Thanks.